What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to Competitive Decks. Now, today we had a request, and I love when you guys leave me requests down in the comments below, and of course I will be asking for that again today, but we were requested Lycanroc, and I was only requested one form, but you know what? We're going to cover all three because Lycanroc is just such a cool Pokemon. So, if you're excited to learn how to use Lycanroc, all three forms, go ahead and leave a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe if you are new. We just passed 100. We're making our way to 200, 300, 420. We'll see how fast we can get there, but all your support is very much appreciated. And of course, in the comments, let me know what you would like to see in the next episode. Also, today I am moving, so if you see a new office in tomorrow's stream, which is coming at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to be streaming Super Paper Mario for the Wii. That's going to be a fun time, so make sure to drop by if you have a chance. And we're going to be streaming that for about 3 weeks. And then Origami King will be coming out, and we will be streaming that as well. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that, as well as all kinds of new Pokemon content coming. Also, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Wi-Fi battle and Meme GC. If you haven't caught those, the playlist will be down in the description for you. It's pretty nuts what is going on in the game with Isle of Armor, and I am super excited to be bringing you tons of new content. So let's go ahead and jump into it with Lycanroc Midnight. Now, Lycanroc Midnight is arguably, not arguably, it is the worst Lycanroc form, unfortunately. And the biggest reason comes from its very lacking speed. 82 speed is pretty low, and you don't really outspeed a lot of your big threats in the tier. I'm looking at like Excadrill, you're 6 points slower than that. Basically anything that carries Earthquake is going to just knock you out. Cinderace is faster than you, hits you with a high jump kick, or pretty much anything. The bulk is really bad on this mon. The only good stat is its attack, and even then it's really not super impressive. So it's a waste of such a good design to me. I love the design, the werewolf, but it's really bad. Its stats are awful. It's bad. No Guard is okay, but it's bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it a Choice Scarf, and this is going to allow it to outspeed several key threats as long as they are not also scarfed. This allows you to outspeed anything that's running Jolly, base 129, max speed, or lower. So that's not too bad, right? That covers several big threats in the tier, one of them being Cinderace, which is kind of everywhere right now. You can outspeed it, and you can OHKO that with Stone Edge. Let's see, we've got a few more threats here. Aegislash, that gets 2-hit KO'd with Crunch. With the Scarf set, Alakazam gets knocked out. A lot of those are running Life Orb now over the Focus Sash that they used to run. So if you catch a Life Orb one, which of course you don't know because it's Magic Guard, but if you catch one that's Life Orb, then you can knock that out in one hit, which is pretty cool. Amoonguss gets 2-hit KO'd. Bisharp gets OHKO'd. Blissey gets OHKO'd. Cinderace gets OHKO'd with Stone Edge. Let's see, Gengar, that's going to get OHKO'd too, as long as it's not also Scarfed, which is kind of common. It's kind of backing down a little bit, but they're still out there. Hydreigon, that gets OHKO'd after Rocks, which is pretty nice. Crocodile, as long as it's not also Scarfed, gets knocked out. Magnezone has a chance to kill after Rocks. Marowak, same thing, the Marowak Alolan form. So, there's several key threats here that you can actually outspeed and do decent damage to, which is pretty cool. But overall, this mon's pretty bad. It did get access to close combat this generation, which is good, but it doesn't get access to anything like Ice Punch, which would help to cover grass types and dragons and that sort of thing, which this thing kind of struggles against. We run Fire Punch for grass types, which is cool, but I think Ice Punch is a little bit better, but we don't get access to that, unfortunately. So, it is what it is. You could also run Play Rough. That would help you with dragons, especially things like Kommo-o, which would definitely want to switch in on this. So that's something to consider. Psychic Fangs for fighting types, which also threaten you pretty hard. So, this set right here is just there for you to cover most things in the tier, but Play Rough and Psychic Fangs are definitely options to consider. They help to cover other certain things. So, make sure to consider that when you are thinking about your set. Thunder Punch, also for water types, but most bulky waters, this thing's not going to really be able to break through anyway, so probably not worth your move slot. The next one is going to be Double Dance. We've got Swords Dance Rock Polish, which is pretty cool. This allows it to go super quick and double your speed rather than 1.5 times with the Scarf. We're running an Expert Belt to help us out with anything that is super effective. And of course, No Guard being our ability, we don't have to worry about missing our stone edges, which is cool. And it's got a high crit ratio, which is also nice. Swords Dance helps you to pick up several key KOs. Everything that I just mentioned that was a roll now becomes a guaranteed OHKO. You now would OHKO certain things. And you can also pick up Sucker Punch instead of Close Combat if you wanted to. And that would allow you to OHKO things like Dragapult that normally would switch in on this pretty easily. We did run Crunch on this, but I mean, you're not going to really be beating a Dragapult. You're not going to be outspeeding it, whether it has a boost or not. So that's one thing to think about. I mean, Dragapult really is kind of a wall to this, and anything super fast. Zeraora, same thing. But I think that this could actually help to clean up quite a few things. Stone Edge does hit pretty hard, and so you know it's got some potential. It's got some potential. It's not the best. Now we've got Choice Band. Choice Band is good. It helps you to pick up more key KOs here. But I think if you're going to run anything, I think the Double Dance set is probably better because you need the speed. But, you know, we've got Sucker Punch on this one. This allows you to pick up some pretty nice KOs with that priority, which is good. This is the only thing that's really helping it right now, Choice Banded with Sucker Punch. Close Combat's still good. It helps you against things like Ferrothorn, I guess, but you've also got Fire Punch. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. This thing's just not that strong. I'm just not really that much of a fan of its moveset. Then we've also got Bulk Up, which helps you to kind of patch up that really weak defense. You're going to have to get up quite a few bulk ups before you start taking any kind of decent attack. But I just thought I'd throw it out there. It does get that kind of coverage. Sucker Punch, of course, still being really nice for that priority. All right, let's move on here. We've got 4 sets for the midday form, which is pretty cool. Now this one is going to be slightly better, and it does get access to Sand Rush. Now a lot of people run Steadfast, which I don't think is a bad idea, honestly, but I really like this thing under Sand, which is pretty cool. Now, I don't think that it's better than Excadrill. I do not think that it's better than Stoutland, even. I think both of those are better forms and better Sand Rush users, and once we get Dracozolt with Sand Rush, this will definitely be worse. So, just something to think about. It is a Sand Rush user. It is something to sleep that people will sleep on, and it is faster than other users of Sand Rush, which is pretty neat. Being at 112 speed, that's a decent speed tier. It's not too bad. So we're running a Choice Band on it and running Sand Rush, but of course you could run Steadfast. But I mean, how much are you getting flinched? I mean, unless you're facing a Togekiss, but Togekiss really doesn't want to come in on this. So I mean, I tend to think that the Choice Band set is pretty good on this. So we've got Close Combat, of course, for that coverage for Steel types. We've got Stone Edge, Crunch, and Fire Fang, very similar to the sets we had before. A lot of these sets are going to be similar because a lot of the move set is basically the same. A lot of what they learn is basically the same. So yeah, I like this a lot. If you're not running it on a Sand team, I would definitely recommend switching either Crunch or Fire Fang out for Accelerock. This is a priority rock type move, which is really awesome. So you get stab on that and it hits pretty hard. Helps against things like Volcarona. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I like this mon for sure. So again, Sand Rush can be swapped out if you're not running it on a Sand team, but we've got Swords Dance as well on a Life Orb set, which is really awesome. I really like this coverage here. Crunch, of course, being able to help you with Dragapult, and you will OHKO it after a Swords Dance. And yeah, you'll hit things pretty dang hard. Stone Edge plus Close Combat plus Crunch actually gives near perfect coverage. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. Things like Tangrowth are obviously still going to be able to switch in on you very easily, so that is something you have to watch out for. But you know, if you get up enough Swords Dances, you might be able to muscle through it, but it's still going to be really tough. So next we're going to have a manual Sandstorm setter. So this is kind of the one-man show, right? You switch this in, and you know, your opponent switches out thinking there might be like an Accelerock or that sort of thing. You set up your own Sandstorm on a team that maybe didn't look like it was a Sandstorm team, and then you kind of just go to town. So this could be really interesting. I don't hate this. It's not the best set in the world, obviously, and we're going to run a Sash on it just to make sure that you live one hit so that you can get up your Sandstorm and then outspeed whatever it was you were dealing with and knock it out that following turn, which is pretty cool. So definitely something to consider. Then we've got an offensive stealth rock set. I don't think this is that bad, but this would be for lower tiers once this thing starts dropping down. I don't think this is necessarily a super great OU set. It's good in lower tiers though. So steadfast though I think is fine for lower tiers. This wouldn't be run on a sand team anyway, but this is just your offensive rocking. You've got a Stone Edge, you've got Accelerock, you've got Taunt as well for opposing mons such as Ferrothorn that want to switch in on it. Although Ferrothorn can't switch on it as easily that you would normally carry the close combat. So, but this being a like sack lead pretty much is pretty cool. You do have Accelerock for the priority, which is nice, and then of course Taunt to shut down anything setting up. All right, last and definitely not least is going to be Dusk. Now this form is the best of the Lycanroc forms, and I love this thing. Base 110 speed is very good, and 117 attack. It got a slight attack increase, which is nice. It obviously doesn't have any bulk though, so this is very much a glass cannon, and I think Choice Banded is a very nice set. You've seen just how strong Tough Claws can be on certain megas in the past, and of course certain mons now have it, and it's kind of terrifying. One that comes to mind is Mega Metagross having Tough Claws. That thing is insane. It's such a crazy boost. You have a 1.3 times boost to your attack as long as it makes contact, which I believe everything here does except for Stone Edge, which is pretty cool. Which unfortunately Stone Edge, not making contact is kind of awful, seeing how that's your main form of stab, but it is what it is. But with Choice Band and Tough Claws boost on close combat and Crunch and Accelerock, you're doing massive damage. It's so cool. I think this actually has a niche in UU/OU. It probably won't go any lower than UU, to be honest, because it just hits that hard, especially with close combat now. I can't stress enough how important close combat is to this thing's moveset. It's super good. Next, we've got a Life Orb set with 4 attacks. We are carrying the Sucker Punch for priority, which again helps against opposing Scarfers. Things like Gengar do not want to take a priority Sucker Punch from this with Tough Claws boost. You've got Psychic Fangs for opposing fighting types, which is nice. And then, of course, I believe this one gets Play Rough too. It does. So that can help you against things like the Kommo-o or Hydreigon, anything like that that is out there. It also gets Outrage for some reason. Iron Head isn't too bad. But yeah, I mean, this thing gets some odd coverage, I would say. But yeah, you have Psychic Fangs. You could also run Zen Headbutt, but I mean, it's up to you. Psychic Fangs is stronger. And yeah, but so we are going to run Jolly on this with max attack, of course. And giving the priority Sucker Punch is huge, plus the close combat. It's a nice one. Then we've got SD. Pretty standard as far as what the previous sets looked like. Again, close combat, Stone Edge, and Crunch are pretty good coverage, I would say. It covers most things, but again, there are certain things that you're just not going to be able to cover on this mon, and you're just going to have to bring things to help. And then, of course, we had to sneak a meme in there somewhere, right? This is a Stealth Rock, Taunt, Endeavor, Accelerock set. So this is basically there to come in and you get hit, you get knocked down to 1 HP as you set up rocks, and then you go for Endeavor. Basically, and then if for some reason they didn't knock you out on 1 HP, you have the Accelerock. Or you catch something on a switch in if for some reason they switch, and then you Accelerock it and kill it, which is pretty cool. So this set isn't super great. In fact, it's not good at all. But you know what? I'd like to see it. This would be a lower tier type of set, and actually you could probably run it on midday. I think it gets all these moves as well, so just something to think about. A nice little suicide lead. It's just kind of a funny way to mess with your opponents. So anyway, guys, that is going to be all for Lycanroc. I hope you guys enjoyed learning about him, and I hope you picked up something that you want to use in the future. We will, of course, have him in a Wi-Fi battle in the near future, but this coming week, we are going to have a awesome Urshifu battle, which is going to be really cool. And Meme GC, I'm super excited to finally be able to bring you Meme GC on the Switch. I know yesterday we had to bring you one on Pokemon Showdown, but I hope that wasn't too much of a change. I enjoyed it. I think it's cool getting that many games, it being a lot more fast-paced. But I want to know your opinion on that as well, on the change to Meme GC just for this week. So anyway, guys, I will see you in the next video. Make sure you stay safe out there. I'll see you in the stream tomorrow. Bye-bye.